Hello and welcome to Revsportz. I'm Gargi Raut. Behind me is the iconic Wankhede Stadium. Team Revsportz has now landed in Mumbai, where India will take on England in semi-final number 2. This is the game that we were all awaiting after a blockbuster win against West Indies in Kolkata, where Sanju Samson spun some magic. Some cricket moments don't really need commentary, and you just watch them and you understand what they mean. And when you look back on the Eden Gardens last night, Sanju Samson gave us one of those moments. He hit the winning runs against West Indies, took off his helmet, tossed it aside, and dropped to his knees. For a few seconds, he did not move. He prayed, almost like the weight of everything he had carried finally left him. And honestly, you could feel it too in the stadium. For years, Sanju Samson has lived between promise and a lot of frustration. He has always been talented, but he has also always been questioned and sometimes unlucky. And in a game that was a virtual quarterfinal, redemption finally arrived for Sanju Samson under the lights of Eden Gardens. But while everyone watched Sanju Samson, there was another moment that told its own story. Now, as Sanju Samson walked back to the pavilion, surrounded by cameras, surrounded by noise of the crowd, the broadcast shifted its focus to the middle of the ground where Gautam Gambhir, Moni Mokkal and batting coach Sitanshu Kotak stood in a huddle. They weren't widely celebrating or something like that. They just smiled at each other, and you could tell that Kotak in particular had this weight off of their chest. Something heavy finally lifted off their shoulders, and you could see it on their faces. Because playing for India comes with pressure, but coaching India might be something that's even harder. Every young cricketer dreams of wearing the India jersey, and many, once they wear that Indian jerseys and their career slow down, their dream of becoming a coach now starts. From the outside, it looks like the perfect transition. It looks like the perfect continuation of their careers. There's respect, there's influence, there's a chance to shape the future. But what people don't see is the scrutiny that comes with it. There's a saying that floats around cricket in Indian cricket circles that you need to have incredibly thick skin to survive here, because criticism in cricket stays for a long time, and it grows very loud, and it's sharp, and it's sometimes also deeply personal and toxic. And over the last couple of years, this Indian management has felt all of it, the highs and the lows. There have been incredible highs, there have been ICC trophies, big tournament wins, moments that confirm that India is dominating in certain parts. But there have also been difficult phases, including 3 home test series losses in just 12 months. And every loss has brought forward question. Every decision was debated, every selection was dissected, every strategy unfolded. Then came this T20 World Cup campaign. India arrived with a lot of expectations after a year of dominating T20 cricket, and suddenly anything less than complete control and domination of a game felt unacceptable. That match against USA at the Wankhede became what the captain later called a wake-up call. And after that, things started to look very different for Team India. Abhishek Sharma, who's usually fearless and aggressive, struggled. Tilak Verma began playing the anchor's role. Even Surya Kumar Yadav seemed to hold back and take on this conservative role. Matches were dragged deep, and most of the run scoring was left to the lower order. And it didn't look like the India that people were used to watching for the past 1 year. And naturally, criticism followed. Tactics were questioned in press conferences, playing 11s were debated endlessly, and everything came crashing down after that 76-run heavy loss against South Africa in Ahmedabad. Even the press conference became a talking point when Surya Kumar Yadav defended the team combination in that pre-match press conference. Social media quickly turned against him, which is why last night felt so different. Because when Sanju Samson, when he fell to his knees after finishing the chase, it wasn't. It's not about one player proving a point. Of course, Sanju Samson has been someone who's been unlucky, and it was a sleight of hand of fate that he was able to come back into the playing 11. But somewhere in the background, the management also finally allowed themselves to breathe and relax just a little bit, because for one evening the noise had faded. There were no debates about the playing 11s or the tactics or errors or judgments passed. And Indian cricket, this circuit rarely gives anyone quiet redemptions, and that's the thing. And even failures happen. If the wins are public, so are the failures, and failures are often louder than the wins. But at Eden Gardens, as Sanju Samson celebrated and the coaches stood smiling in that small huddle, you could sense what that moment really meant to that Indian management. A player found his redemption, and a management group, constantly under the microscope, finally got a moment to breathe. Even if cricket, as it always does, starts asking question again tomorrow, the management will always have that moment that they made it to the semi-finals. But also talking about what happens next in the next couple of days, at the Wankhede tomorrow, the team practices 6 to 9 p.m. under the lights. Day after, India practices in the afternoon, 2 to 5 p.m. and around 5:30 there will be a press conference. So stay tuned. The entire team is here. We'll be giving you all the ground updates, and stay tuned, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel.